change happens. No matter what we do, change happens. And it can bring with it so many heavy feelings of stress and anxiety, and sometimes anger even at what's happening. And a lot of that can be caused because we feel trapped by the change, and we feel as if change has taken away some of our control. In this video, I'm going to be talking about a few of the ways that we can start to recognise and take back some of that control. Just as change is a normal and natural thing, so are these feelings like anxiety and stress and grief and anger. They're a natural and normal thing that happens when change is happening. And a lot of it can be because we just feel as if things are running away from us. We're feeling overwhelmed by the situation. We're feeling that we've lost agency, we've lost control. Now, no matter whether the change is something external to us, something like redundancy or the kids moving out, whether that's something that's happened around us but is still affecting us, or whether it's something we choose, such as a lifestyle change, losing weight, becoming fitter, giving up alcohol, any of these kind of lifestyle changes, the goals that we decide ourselves can sometimes start to feel as much of a trap and robbing us of control as external changes. And this can be because we might be looking at those goals and taking into account what other people want, other people's values. And in those situations, understanding what we actually want, what we want as individuals, what suits us, what are the boundaries that we have, what are the values that we have. Understanding that and putting that back into your goals will help that a great deal. And that can take the edge off of those feelings of worry. Are you doing the right thing? Is it going right? Are you being perfect? And that's one of the classics, isn't it? Perfectionism, especially on a goal that we have set ourselves. Putting perfectionism in there as well, that can cause a whole load of stress that we don't need. And of course, when that happens, when that perfectionism kicks in, the likelihood of our goals being successful reduces dramatically. But with all changes, one of the things to recognise is what we have control over. What are the things that we can say, no, this is what I'm going to do? Maybe it might be tweaking that goal slightly so it's more something that resonates with you. Maybe it might be in the case of the kids moving out, maybe it might be you say, well, okay, but this is the way that it would suit me so that you're not being inconvenienced. We don't need to do things just to suit other people. We have to take a bit of ourselves into consideration so that we are not the ones that are putting out all the time. We take some comfort, we take some support, we get what we need from as well. Now, these are things that sometimes it might not be completely possible, but we do have influence over it. We do have some say, no matter what it is. And some of that decision can be about how we decide to perceive something, how we decide to react to something. Again, the reactions that we think we should have might not be the ones that we feel suit us properly. So there's a few things we can do that help reduce those feelings of stress and anxiety. And it's a few techniques that will help us rebuild that feeling of agency, that feeling of control, that taking back control as much as we can, understanding what we do have control over, and therefore once we know that, we can start to build the boundaries that work for us. One of the first things is to make things predictable. When everything else is spinning off and changing and what have you, we need anchors in our day. We need to know that such and such is going to happen. We don't need to worry about it. It might be that the bills are getting paid. It might be that, for instance, if you change career, making sure that the bills are paid on a different day because you're paid on a different day. It's just about bringing back a bit of predictability into your life. Predictability can get a bad name sometimes, a bit of bad press, but it does help us. We need that in our life sometimes. And what goes hand in hand with that is familiar patterns, those routines in your life, the getting up at certain times, the doing certain things, bringing those routines and familiar patterns into your life. And sometimes making new familiar patterns as well, ones that suit the environment that you're now living in, whatever that is, whatever that change has caused, whether it be redundancy or becoming alcohol-free, what patterns suit you. And one of the best tools you can do when it comes to taking back control, understanding your boundaries, understanding what you have control over, is simply writing down what you have control over and what you don't have control over. There is a few variations on this. One of them I see it is draw a circle, and in that circle write down everything that you have control over, and then everything outside of it is what you don't have control over. I think that we can take that forward a bit better, and if we think about it as two circles, one that we have control over, write everything that you have control over in that, the other, the things that you don't have control over. Then, if we get the circles to cross, whatever's in the middle, whatever's in that intersection, is the things we have some kind of influence over. Understanding that we still have some kind of influence. It's not just black and white. There is that bit of grey in the middle. So it might not work out quite the way that we want, but there might be something that we can do to soften the blow, to make it a bit more palatable for us. And so by doing that, two intersecting circles, what you can control, what you can't control, and in the middle, what you can influence. That might seem a nice simple thing to do. It might seem easy. It might be too simplistic. But what it does is it starts to give you an idea of what you have control over, where your boundaries need to be. Because if you don't have control over something, you might have to build ways of mitigating what might happen from that control, deciding on different paths, deciding on different routes. Equally, where what you have influence over, that starts to become really important for what your boundaries are. And equally, your boundaries become important over what you have control over, because these might be the things that are keeping you going whilst change is happening around you, whilst the overwhelm is happening around you. These things in your sphere of control can be your anchors, your mainstays. And by understanding what they are, you can put protection around them, you can put boundaries around them, and you can say, nope, nothing gets in the way of them, nothing changes them, they're mine, and that keeps you going. And by doing that, you can start seeing bit by bit that you do have control, you do still have agency, and it can start to reduce that stress, that anger, that anxiety that change can bring about us. And maybe we don't feel quite so trapped by change. Just as when we understand what we have in our control and what we don't have in our control can really give us some support, so can understanding what can bring us down and what can bring us back up again. If you're interested in that, check out my video on what wipes you out and what energizes you. The link's here just now. Thanks very much for watching the video. If you have any comments, anything you want to share, stick it in the comments. If you want to get in touch, please feel free. And if you can like, subscribe, share even, that'd be really great. Thanks very much, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks. Bye.